we got the Cardinals Rewind here, a main event podcast, special podcast here. I'm Steven McCollum, of course, where I break down the previous games we win or lost by the Cardinals, and I look forward to the next week's game, and we break it down every week here. Of course, you can find us on all the podcast forums on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, gestaltproduction.com, as well as on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. And of course, the Cardinals, last Sunday night, they get flexed to Sunday Night Football due to some other NFL stuff. The rivals in the Seahawks come to Glendale, and the Cardinals come out with a 37-34 victory in overtime. And of course, they move their record to 5-2 on the season. This was just a fantastic game, I thought, all around. Even in the first half, when the Cardinals were kind of, struggling on defense a little bit. And we'll get on that here as well. But this was, to be honest with you, this is some of the most fun I've had watching a football game in a long time. Long time. It was just ups and downs. It was good play, good play. Even when it was against the Cardinals, there were some great plays by both teams going forward in this game. And it was just exciting to watch. If you're a football fan, this was exciting to watch. And, of course, the Cardinals getting the victory gave it even a little bit more excitement for those of us here in Phoenix and Cardinals fandom land. So now, of course, we do stay positive on this podcast, but there were some negatives in this game. And one glaring one that drove me nuts throughout the game after it happened. I kept harping on it on sitting on my couch. The people watching the game with me were probably getting annoyed that I kept bringing it up. But it ended up not mattering because the Cardinals ended up winning the game, but it still needs to be addressed. One negative I'm going to touch on here real quick here. I know a lot of people are Chase Edmonds fans. They want to see what he can do, what he can out there. I'm one of those guys also. I don't think he gets enough touches in a game because when he gets them, he usually does something special with it. But, of course, the negative is Kenyon Drake got injured in this game. He is out for a few weeks with an ankle issue. I believe he has a torn ligament on there. So how many weeks, we don't know. But that was the deal. So Chase Edmonds. And then you've got young guys. Eno Benjamin, who's been inactive for every game this year, might get an opportunity to get in there and get some special teams play as well as some play on the field here in the next game when it comes up here. So let's talk about the glaring negative that drove me nuts throughout it. Guys, what do I always talk about on here? I love points after turnovers. Love, 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 love them. Can't get enough of them. You get a turnover, you go down, and even if it's 3 points, you go down and you get points on the board. That is huge for an offensive team. But it also kind of, the other team's already down because they turned the ball over. But then they're even more down because those turned into points. It's a big swing. And in this case, right, as we all know, Russell Wilson drops back, gets intercepted. Buda Baker runs down the field, and DK Metcalf catches him. Fantastic play by DK Metcalf. We're going to look at that here in a minute. Absolutely. But not only that, though, then the Cardinals get the ball back, obviously. And they, promptly, and this is the worst part of it, is that they promptly go down the field, 4 plays, 5 yards. They don't even go down the field. I'm sorry. Buda Baker goes down the field, and they get it. 4 plays, 5 yards. Of course, that fourth play was 4th down, right? Here's the play calls as they went along. First play, 5-yard run. 1st and goal at the Seattle 8, right? 5-yard run. Kenyon Drake up the middle for 5 yards. So now it's 2nd and goal on the Seattle 3. 1-yard run. Kenyon Drake left tackle to the 1-yard line. I'm sorry, to the 3-yard line. He got 1 yard on that one. 2nd and goal. 3rd down. Negative 1-yard run. Kyler Murray went off the left end. They snuffed it out. Negative 1 yards for the Cardinals. You're at the 2-yard line. Now you're right. Now you're at the 3-yard line because it was a negative 1 yard loss. Right. I get it. You're at the Seattle 3. I fully understand the situation. 4th and goal. You just had a huge interception where they were going down to score. Keep in mind also, Seahawks were up 13-7 at this point. You had fumbled it on your last drive. Cardinals had. Right? DeAndre Hopkins was the one that fumbled it on the last drive, no less, right? Then Seattle gets the ball back. They're driving down the field. They already have a 13-7 game. They're about to score a touchdown. They get the interception. They go down. I understand it's Seattle 3, right? And you want to go for it. They don't convert it. No points on this play. So as the game goes on, Cardinals are down by 3 late in this game, right? They're down by 3 in the third quarter, 27-24. Right? Then the Seattle goes down to score again. It's 34-24. Then the Cardinals go down and score a touchdown. 34-31. You notice the trend here? Cardinals are down by 3. A lot. Just sitting there going, please don't lose by 3. Please don't lose by 3. I'm going to be mad if you lose by 3. I tweeted out, I hope the Cardinals don't lose by 3. I'm so upset about this 3 points. I've never been so upset about three points in my life. Then the Cardinals go down to kick the field goal to tie the game at the end of fourth quarter. 34-34. That would have been a winning kick if they would have got those 3 before. I get what they were doing on that point. And afterwards, Cliff Kingsbury said, you don't beat teams like Seattle with field goals. I agree with you. Except in this case, you're wrong. So like I said, the game was won, but hopefully a learning situation for everybody on board. Sometimes it's good just to take the 3. Now, of course, I've saw people on Twitter say, yeah, but if they would have converted that fourth down and scored a touchdown, you'd be happy. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. If they would have scored a touchdown after converting that fourth down, you're 100% correct that we would be happier about it. But they did. So let's take that off the table, right? They ended up winning the game. Was not a big deal on that. But one thing I love, man, you've got to give props where props are due on that interception there. Buda Baker. First of all, Russell Wilson, what are you doing? Just floating that ball up there like you did. Buda Baker makes a nice interception play, and he's got nobody in front of him. But what I love about this, when I show you this play, we're going to probably watch it a couple times. Let's just watch it at his face here first. I know you all have seen it, but let's watch it again here real fast here.
With 6 different receivers, and this time he lofts one, and it's picked off at the goal line. That's Buda Baker. Buda Baker out in front. Can Metcalf track him down? Can he chase him down? And he does to save a touchdown. But what a play by Baker, intended for Carson. Wilson lofted it. We talked about, we had mentioned.
I mean, fantastic play. Buda Baker thought he was in the end zone. DK Metcalf should not be able to run that fast. I think I saw some people saying they clocked him at 22 miles per hour running down the sideline to catch him. And when you watch this replay again here, watch the middle of the field. Don't watch the interception. DK Metcalf's in the middle of the field. The second that ball is caught, he literally just puts his head down and starts pumping his arms, and he just starts booking it after Booker. Love this defensive play by DK Metcalf. I know we're not supposed to love defensive plays, but that's how good this game was that you can appreciate both sides, and it's even more important that you can appreciate it because the Cardinals won. Right? Let's watch it again. I just love this so much here. And I'll try to talk
with 6 different receivers, and this time he lofts one.
He's right there. He just books it. I mean, if they try to make a block on him, he misses it. The offensive lineman could have blocked him. He didn't.
And he does to save a touchdown.
Fantastic play by the defense.
What a play by Baker, intended for Carson. Wilson lofted it. We talked about, we had mentioned.
But here's the other side of that also. Like I said, it just leads to the most glaring issue. And I like to say that's the only coaching issue that happened in this game. But it wasn't. Another negative. Overtime, of course. I'd take a deep breath there for a minute because these coaching issues really get to me. You put yourself in these situations to win these games, right? You put your team in these situations to win these games, and you have these brain farts. This one you're not even prepared for. So overtime. Cardinals stop the Seahawks on their drive in overtime. They take the ball downfield, get into field goal range, 41-yard field goal attempt is what they get to, right? So on first down, Cardinals take a negative 5-yard loss on a run play. So Cliff decides to attempt the 41-yard field goal to win the game on second down. I know a lot of people had issues with him kicking it on second down, but here's the thing. I didn't. I actually was on my couch saying kick it on first down, to be honest with you. Zane can make that. Zane can make it. Zane can make that kick on first down. No problem, right? So why not do it on first down? That way you don't have a loss. Because as I said here a minute ago, this drive started like this. It was 6 plays, 19 yards. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the game-winning one. I'm sorry. I'm backwards here. 6 plays, 49 yards for the Cardinals. Play started off, so they get the ball after the Seattle punt at their own 28. 7-yard pass. Chase Edmonds goes up the middle. 32-yard run. Fantastic run by Chase Edmonds there, right? You get excited. 9-yard run by Chase Edmonds. Up the middle again. 6-yard run by Kyler Murray off the right side. Then this is the problem. 2nd and 1 at the Seattle 24. And they get that 6-yard run, first down, right? 1st and 10 at the Seattle 18. No huddle. Kyler Murray's in the shotgun. Runs off the left tackle. Kyler Murray gets tackled. Negative 5-yard play. So it's gone from the Seattle 18-yard line to the Seattle 23-yard line. You don't want to keep going backwards. On first down, it would have been a 36-yard field goal. Absolutely a chip shot for Zane Gonzalez. But instead, you run the first play. 2nd down, first down, negative 5 yards. They run out the kicking team on field goal. 2nd and 15, Seattle 23. He should still make this. They get the field goal unit out there late. Cliff's not paying attention. If you watched the broadcast, you saw the replay where he's over there smiling and laughing, talking to Kyler Murray. And an assistant coach runs up to him and says, play clock, play clock, play clock. Says something like that. Probably some F words in there, Cliff has to run over, call a timeout. Essentially icing their own kicker. And he kicked it at that point after the timeout was called. They snapped the ball. He kicked it, made it. All right, good. That's his practice one. Usually you get a practice one, you usually make it. You usually make the next one too. Come back from that timeout. Zane Gonzalez, 41-yard field goal. No good. Wide left, and it's not even close. It is so wide left, it's not even funny, right? The disappointing thing about this isn't kicking it on 2nd down. Like I said, I agree. Kick it on 1st down. Get the game over with. Kick the play. Don't ruin a turnover. Don't ruin a fumble. Don't throw the ball. Don't get an interception. Don't do anything dumb like that. Negative 5 yards. Okay, let's kick it. Make it easy field goal for Zane. The problem is coaching staff was unprepared for this situation. They were late getting the field goal unit out there. Or the field goal, whether it was the coaches getting them out or the players weren't ready, that's still coaching. Players have to be ready on that sideline. There's a special teams coach telling them, guys, get ready. You're going out. You're going out. Get ready. You're going out. You guys are going out. They got out there late, so they had to call a timeout. Iced their kicker, missed it. You still need to make that, Zane. You still need to make that, Mr. Gonzalez, but they did it. My problem is 2 coaching issues in this game. Cardinals were able to overcome it, though. Here's the positive. Cardinals were able to overcome them both. I get that Cliff's young coach. I get that he's, I'm not going to say learning on the fly. But these are things that, seasoned coaches screw up these things, guys. Seasoned coaches screw up that overtime deal with getting the team out there late, not prepared, things like that. So Cardinals won. We're able to overlook it a little bit. So hopefully it's a learning process and he learns on this situation. Team has to be prepared. They're practicing it for the next game. Hey, guys, be ready to get out there on 2nd down. It was late in the game like that, and we need it. Be ready to go out. So hopefully that's an improvement on there. Didn't cost them anything. I'd be harping on it a lot more. I settled down once they won the game, but it still bothers me, both those situations. I'd like to see it cleaned up. Another negative in this game, Cardinals defense. There's a caveat. Cardinals defense in the first half. They gave up 27 points to Seattle in the first half. Seattle pretty much did what they wanted to do in the first half of this game. Right? Cardinals defense immediately 6 plays, 75 yards for the Seattle Seahawks on their first drive. Touchdown. Tyler Lockett. Then Cardinals punt on their first drive. Then Seattle gets the ball back, 9 plays, 48 yards, kick a field goal, go up 10-0. I'm just focusing on the defense in the first half here. Then the Cardinals go down to score a touchdown. Perfect. Then the Seattle gets the ball back, on their next drive. They had 3 drives in the first half, all points. Last drive of the first quarter, field goal, 9 plays, 44 yards. Seattle kicks a field goal. So yeah, they held them to 2 field goals instead of 3 touchdowns. But you allowed them to go down and score on 9 plays on the last 2 drives for the field goal. 6 plays on the first one, 75 yards. Right? Then, of course, in the second quarter, Budda Baker got that interception. But they were driving to score again. But they made a great play interception. Then Cardinals, of course, we just talked about it, did the turnover on down. Seattle gets the ball back. 6 plays, 97 yards. Touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks offense. Defense couldn't stop them. Cardinals go down and get a touchdown. Great, right? But then the defense has to go back out there. 3 plays, 85 yards. Touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks. Lot of points put up. Lot of yardage. Here's the thing on this one. Deep right pass by Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett for 47 yards on this drive. This drive started with a Russell Wilson scramble up the middle for 22 yards. So, negative Cardinals defense in the first half. Absolutely negative. As my good friend Jeffrey O'Brien says, hot garbage by the Cardinals defense. Right? So then the second half comes. We're going to switch to the positives now because we're going to give the defense some credit. In the second half, they woke up. They started playing well. They held the Seattle offense to 7 points in the second half. Cardinals got 3 interceptions off of Russell Wilson, who's playing at an MVP level going into this game on Sunday night. Look at these Seattle Seahawks offensive possessions for the defense in the second half. Third quarter. They had the ball twice. Seattle did. First one, 6 plays, 34 yards, punt. Next one, 10 plays, 60 yards, interception. Cardinals interception. This interception was Patrick Peterson's interception on this drive, right? Fourth quarter comes. Seattle has the ball twice. They do a 12-play, 40-yard drive down there. They go up by 10. They get a touchdown against the Cardinals defense. That's the 7 points the Cardinals gave up. Then the next drive by Seattle, when they're up by only 3, Cardinals defense forces them. 5 plays, 20 yards for Seattle's offense. Cardinals defense forces them to punt the ball, which of course sets up the Cardinals field goal to tie it to go into overtime. Cardinals defense was lights out in that second quarter, or the second half, excuse me. Let's go to overtime. Seattle gets the ball first. Cardinals defense, 6 plays, 14 yards for Seattle's offense. Cardinals defense hold them to a punt, which of course led to the missed field goal. Seattle gets the ball back again after that missed field goal attempt by the Cardinals. 7 plays, 27 yards. Interception. Again, this time Isaiah Simmons. Huge positive. Isaiah Simmons sighting, everybody. He gets the interception off Russell Wilson. Returns at 12 yards. Gets pushed out of bounds at the Seattle 49. Right? That's where the Cardinals go down, and then they kick the field goal that we just talked about earlier to win the game. And that's a lockdown defense there against a team that had an MVP candidate as an offensive as a quarterback. DK Metcalf is one of the best receivers in the league. Cardinals shut him down. We'll talk about that here in a minute as a positive, right? So as much as I railed on the defense for not being good in the first half at all, second half lights out. I don't know what switch was flipped in the second half. Fantastic second half by that Cardinals defense in this game. So got to give them props, even though I had them negative, but I also have them positive. Other positives for the Cardinals. As I said, DK Metcalf, one of the best young receivers, his second year. He's unstoppable. His size, his speed, as you saw in that interception where he caught Buda Baker. His size is outrageous. Old man, we're going to call him Old Man Patrick Peterson, still has some game in him. He covered him most of the time during this game, if not all the time. I didn't look at every play. I'm not going to look at every play, right? Patrick Peterson held DK Metcalf to 2 catches for 23 yards. DK doesn't get held to that too often, right? Fantastic play by Patrick Peterson on that defense. Basically, the Cardinals were saying, hey, Russell Wilson, you're going to beat us by passing and doing your game. You're not going to have your best receiver to do it. Of course, if you want to get down to it on that, Cardinals forced Russell Wilson to look at other receivers. And boy, did he find a receiver. 15 receptions, 200 yards for Tyler Lockett. 3 touchdowns to Tyler Lockett on the other side. I'm still calling it a positive on the defense because they held the best receiver down. Second receiver, Tyler Lockett's not a bad receiver by any stretch. But obviously the Cardinals need to strengthen up that Drake Kirkpatrick side of the defense on the cornerback side. And they traded for Marcus Golden on last Friday. So he's going to help with the pass rush in there, which hopefully can, be able to shut down both receivers a little bit more. Other than that, Seattle's receiving core wasn't that great. Good job by the defense. Positive on the defense on that one. Another positive I wrote down during the game. Obviously, I talked about Isaiah Simmons getting his first career interception in the overtime to set up the Cards' game-winning field goal. Great to see him show up for that moment. That's a huge moment for a young guy. But here's the other side of it. The thing I was excited about the most is, when the Cardinals play the Lions, the offense, Kyler Murray struggled. You never thought he was getting in rhythm. You always thought, I felt like he got discouraged in that game. They were confusing him, didn't know what was going on. First time we'd seen that. Most of the time you see Kyler Murray all excited, even when things don't go his way. He doesn't hold it on his shoulders. He lets it go, and he gets back out there and does some positive things. That Lions game, he didn't. Panthers game was bad for the defense as well. Whole team didn't show up for that one. But I like this game. A big, huge matchup against a division rival, one of the best teams in the NFL. Rise 5-1. Cardinals offense, they never gave up. They came back in this game repeatedly. They were down 20-7 in the second quarter. They were down 27-17 at half. 27-24 they were down at the end of the third quarter. Even in the fourth quarter, when the Seattle went down and scored that late touchdown to make it 34-24 in the fourth, the Cards offense came back, scored a touchdown right away after that, 34-31. And of course, they finally tied the game 34-34 as time expired. Then they go out there and they stop Seattle on the first drive of overtime. Cardinals offense drives down the field and gets in field goal range, even though he missed it. We talked about that earlier. So you can hang your heads. You've done all this stuff as the Cardinals offense. You can hang your heads again. They don't. They get the ball back because of Isaiah Simmons' interception. And they drive down the field immediately and set up the game-winning field goal again. Cardinals offense just didn't give up in this game. Huge positive. No matter what went against them, no matter what went against their ways, they fought through it. I mean, you can hang your head. D-Hop, your best receiver, has a fumble. He has 10 receptions, 103 yards, and 1 fumble. You can hang your heads on that stuff, and they didn't. They fought through it. They got back into this game. I loved it. It was 100% great. Absolutely. Another positive I got out of this game, Kyler Murray. I said last week that you're not going to win many games completing 9 passes, 9 of whatever it was, 23 passes in the Cowboys game. So you're not going to win a lot of games that way. Here's a stat for you. Kyler Murray completed 70.8% of his passes in the game against Seattle on Sunday night. He He was 34 for 48. A little bit of a turnaround, right? Here's the interesting stat also. It was his 7th career game above 70% and 3rd in the last 3 weeks. I didn't realize he was that accurate in terms of 70% of his passes are completed. I didn't realize that. And then they kind of break it down even more. This is from Mark Dalton. If you follow him on Twitter, he's the Arizona Cardinals media relations guy. He puts out some stats like this, but he breaks it down even more, and he says, take away the 4 spikes to stop the clock at the end of the 4th quarter in overtime last night, on Sunday night, sorry. Forget what day it is. And it was the second most accurate performance of his career at 77.3%. So I get it. You have 4 spikes or whatever, and you have to include that, so it's only 70.8. But you take those out, man, 77.3% of his passes are completed. Fantastic against a team like Seattle. Now, I know Seattle's defense isn't good. Isn't good at all. You know, you could score on them. It was what the Cardinals did. They did what they needed to do, and they got it, right? You know, Kyler Murray did have 2 fumbles in this game. He recovered them both, right? DeAndre Hopkins, as I said, he had the one, he caught it, and then he fumbled it. Kyler Murray did have 1 interception in this game. You know, interceptions happen. I'm not going to beat him up for it. I'm not going to say he's the worst thing ever. Absolutely. Another thing on Kyler Murray here on the positive side that I enjoyed in this game, Kyler Murray is the first player in NFL history to have a rushing and passing touchdown in 6 of the first 7 games of a season. I mean, I don't know how you defensively scheme against this guy, right? He can drop back, he can throw the touchdown, he can drop back, he can run the touchdown. Well, that's why defensive coordinators get paid a lot of money, right? Absolutely. So, one thing I wanted to bring up on this as well. I mean, actually, you know what? Let's do this first before I get into the play call where Hopkins scored his touchdown. I just love what the Cardinals did on this, and I have a breakdown on it. But, I mean, the team stats on this game are ridiculous. Now, granted, it went into overtime. But first down, Seattle had 33. Arizona had 31. Rushing-wise, Cardinals had 11 rushing first downs. They had 17 passing first downs. Cardinals did. That's balanced. Right? I know, I realize 17 is higher than 11. But that's pretty dang balanced for a team that gets the reputation of wanting to throw the ball a lot. The Cardinals had 3 first downs from penalties. Seattle only had 1. We'll talk about penalties in a minute. Cardinals were 42% effective on 3rd down. Talking about the defense, Seattle was 38% on 3rd down. 4th down, Seattle did make their 1 4th down possession. Of course, Arizona, they missed that one that we'd already talked about. They're 1 for 2. The big one being they didn't get points after that interception by Buda Baker. Cardinals total net yards, 519. They had 81 total plays. Seattle had 82 total plays. So if you look at the total play side of it, right, the game was equal in terms of total plays. You go to time of possession, though. Seattle had the ball for 39 minutes and 32 seconds. Cardinals had 30 minutes and 13 seconds. 9-minute roughly. I know the math doesn't add up exactly. 9-minute difference roughly between those times of possessions. And they had basically the same play amount. Cardinals had more bigger plays than Seattle did on there. And that was the major difference in it. Here's the breakdown even more. First quarter, we read the things already. Seattle was driving down the field. 3 of their 3 drives, they drove down the field and got points out of it. Touchdown, field goal. First quarter, Seattle had the ball for 9 minutes, 31 seconds. Cardinals, 5 minutes, 29 seconds. The interesting thing to me, because second quarter then it was even, 7:43 for Seattle, 7:17 for the Cardinals. Third quarter, 6 minutes, 19 seconds for the Seahawks, 8:41 for the Cardinals. So the Cardinals had it for a little bit more in the third. And if you remember what happened in this one, right? So first quarter, Seattle had the ball a lot more. They had touchdown, field goal. Cardinals punted and then a touchdown. Second quarter was even. But the third quarter, right? Cardinals had the ball for roughly 2 minutes more in the third quarter. And this was the one where Seattle punted the ball and then interception. I mean, the interception was off 10 plays, 60-yard drive for 5 minutes, 41 seconds. And then they threw the interception, right? So, but the Cardinals had a 5-minute, 31 drive for a touchdown on that drive also. But even on the one they punted, Seattle had the ball 6 plays, 34 yards, 3 minutes, 20 seconds. You know, but the fourth quarter is what I'm interested in on this one. It's fascinating to me. 9 minutes, 44 seconds, Seattle had the ball in the fourth quarter. Cardinals came back in the fourth quarter. Remember this? Cardinals were down, well, going into the fourth quarter, 27-24. They were down by 3 going into the fourth quarter. They, of course, had that one play. Kyler Murray threw the ball to Andy Isabella, and it was intercepted by Diggs. So, I mean, they had the ball for 8 seconds on that drive. But they came back from 3 down, but Seattle then takes the ball, 5 minutes, 26 seconds, goes down and scores a touchdown to go up by 10, 34-24. Cardinals had a 4-minute drive. Seattle punted it in a minute 36 after that. So Arizona's 4-minute drive was the 34-31 touchdown. And then the punt, minute 36 for Seattle. So Seattle dominated the fourth quarter in time of possession. 9 minutes, 44 seconds. Cardinals had 5-16. Cardinals came back and won this game, basically being down by 10, 34-24. Fascinating. Cardinals can hit and score quickly. That doesn't show it any better. Overtime, it's skewed 6 minutes, 15 seconds for Seattle. Cardinals 3:30. That's obvious because Cardinals didn't have to drive as far. They, with that missed field goal, they got the ball off the punt there. 6 plays, 49 yards, 248. But after that, I mean, Seattle had the ball for a minute 45 before that interception, Isaiah Simmons, and the Cardinals had it for 42 seconds, kicked the field goal. So I'm not worried about overtime. But fourth quarter, Cardinals were down by 10 basically. Most of that fourth quarter, or at least the beginning of it. Seattle had the ball 9 minutes of the fourth quarter. Cardinals 5. Cardinals still came back and tied the game to go force overtime. Fantastic. It's a fantastic job by the Cardinals, and it tells you how fast they can score. We talked about the field goals on this deal here. Well, actually, let's go to the penalties first. Cardinals have cleaned this up a little bit. 6 penalties, 40 yards on this game. They're cleaning it up. We haven't seen an 11 penalty game for 100 and something yards in a few weeks now. It's great. Cardinals have finished. And the penalties aren't huge to where they're extending drives for the other team on defense. There's not a lot of pass interference ones. There's not a lot of defensive holdings that give the other team first downs in those types of situations. Same thing on the offense. There's not huge, holding and stuff. There's not huge penalties that, 3rd and 2 when they get a penalty, go backwards. So I'm digging the penalties at this point. I still like it cleaned up. I'd like a game with 0 penalties, but I'm a little picky like that, right? Field goals. We talked about this already a little bit. Obviously, the one he missed. 3 for 4, Zane Gonzalez. The one he missed was in overtime. We talked about that a little bit ago in the negative section of this podcast. But again, guys, we talk about the distances, right? And how you rely on long distances. This Cardinals team does. They've been getting away from it. They've been getting down there with 23-yard touchdowns. They've been getting down, 30-yard, field goals. They've been getting down to 30-yard field goals. Here they are. You guys know what they are. 49 yards. Here's the other side of this before I say when this happened. Sometimes field goals happen long at the end of halves because you have to. The clock's running out. You're running out of time. That's what happened. 49-yarder to end the first half. They had to kick it. Time was running out. It's the only chance they could get points to kick it. I can live with that. 44-yarder to end the fourth quarter as well. So you can live with those long ones because the clocks were running out, right? 48-yard one to win the game in overtime. Would like to see him get a little bit more out of that. Of course, in overtime, it was 4th and 3 at the Seattle 30 when they kicked that field goal. This was one where they went all the way to 4th down. They didn't kick it on the 2nd down. The one they did miss in overtime was a 41-yard field goal where they had that 5-yard loss. Otherwise, it would have, like I said, it would have been a 36-yarder, more manageable. That 5-yard loss pushed them back into the 40 range. So in this game, I understand the long field goals. The first two had to be 49 and the 44-yarders. End of the half, end of the fourth quarter. You had to kick them. Clock's out. No choice. You had to kick the one at 48 yards because they couldn't go any farther. They tried. That last drive. 1st and 10, they had an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10, it was a 7-yard pass. 3rd and 3, a pass incomplete. They had to kick the field goal at that point. Right? 4th and 3. So to win the game, they did it. So it's just seeing some improvements with this offense is just being fantastic. But let's look at this play real quick. On DeAndre Hopkins' touchdown play, Cardinals do something. And you didn't see it on the live feed. Nobody talked about it in the live feed. But you did show Kyler Murray smiling when he throws this ball because he recognizes how open, he is on that. So I found a guy on Twitter. Somebody broke it down. So I'm going to show you this here real quick here. I don't believe there's any sound to it. So he breaks it down to where, look what the offensive linemen do. And even Kyler Murray, they all look off to the sideline. Like, oh, what? You're giving me a new play call? And then they snap it. Kyler Murray's not even looking at the ball when it's snapped. But this is Kyler Murray smiling when he sees that, Seattle wasn't ready for this. And he knows he's got D-Hop open. D-Hop makes a great play, gets his feet in for that end zone. Look at the defensive back right there. He's not even watching. He's got his hands on his hips. Has no clue the ball's about to be snapped. He thinks they're looking at the sideline. And they got that from somebody said they got it from another team. I want to say a college team, but I don't remember who it was. Let's watch that again here. The first one is watch the two offensive linemen, Kyler Murray and even Chase Edmonds there, right? They all stand up. They all look to the sideline. Ball is snapped. Kyler Murray's barely looking at it. Seattle's defensive line isn't even looking. This is where Kyler Murray smiles because he knows he caught him off guard. D-Hop makes a fantastic catch, get his feet down. But look, 22, hands on his hip. He's like, whoop, gotta go. Whoops, gotta go. Fantastic play call. A little bit of trickery by the Cardinals that worked out and worked well. Totally caught Seattle off guard. Now moving forward, other teams are going to see that, right, on the play thing. So if they see it again, they're going to be ready to go. They're not going to have time to relax. Kind of put pressure on them a little bit more. Something else for another team to think about. Loved it. Loved it. Last thing I want to talk about here, I just want to show you guys because it was good. Zane Gonzalez's winning field goal. Let's take a look at this here.
I think you save it just in case you hit it.
Can he make this one? It is good.
I mean, he misses that. Game's going to end in a tie. Boring. Nobody wants to see a tie ball game. Those of us that have been Cardinals fans for a while, I mean, I sat through a 6-6 tie one time with a lot of missed field goals by everybody. So, overall, exciting game, man. Absolutely exciting game. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Loved the game. Good job, Cardinals. I'm not even going to give props, even though I shouldn't, to the Seahawks. Fantastic game. Cardinals defense second half. We talked about it all. Next week is this week coming up is a bye week, so there's no game to look forward to. Next week, the Miami Dolphins come to town. We'll preview that next week. Of course, there'll be no game to review, so next week we'll preview the Dolphins game. I will be watching the Miami Dolphins game this weekend because Tua gets his rookie start for the Dolphins. For the Dolphins. I'm interested in seeing what he can do. Obviously, the Cardinals will have, unlike when the Cardinals went and played the Cowboys, they had no film on Dalton and how he'd play there with the Cowboys because it was his first game. Cardinals will have film on Tua this week because he's playing this Sunday. They have the Rams, I think. I don't have it off the top of my head. So I'll be paying attention to that game. We'll be able to break it down, preview the Dolphins matchup next week. So, guys, of course, I'm at Steve McCollum. You can reach me at SMAC500 on all the socials. Of course, at the Main Event Pod also. Appreciate you guys all watching. Definitely catch the video up on YouTube as well at the Gestalt Production page. along with all the racing videos and all the other projects we do. Appreciate y'all listening. I'll see you all next week as we preview the Dolphins coming to Glendale.